Okay, great, year 10. So from that first lesson on Sing Song, you should now have in your anthology that poem annotated based on what I said in the PowerPoint and what you saw, but also from everything you got from the GCSE pod videos. And at the bottom, there should be a section that says Context Matters. So now we're going to look at this poem, which is called Love's Philosophy. Again, if you right click on the title here, which is in purple, you'll see a video which links to a reading of the poem. So I ask that you pause this PowerPoint and go and watch that. And what we're going to do now is look at each stanza and annotate it. The fountains mingle with the river and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single. All things by law divine in one spirit meet and mingle. Why not I with thine? So the first thing I want you to notice is this word mingle, which suggests this kind of gentleness and this sort of like coming together. So we've got the fountains mingling with the river and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Now we learn that things mix forever, and this is starting to get to the crux of the argument of this poem, which is people belong together. This is a philosophy, and the word philosophy means a way of thinking about something, about love. So the idea that love should be forever. And what you'll notice, we've had reference to the river, the fountains, the ocean, and this is all nature imagery. Now, why is it relevant to use nature imagery? Well, this probably suggests that love between two people is a very natural thing. What else suggests that the love between two people flow? What do you notice about the lines at the end? What happens? Is there punctuation at the end? No. And so when the line runs on to the next line, we call that enjambment. And so the enjambment might be suggesting that the relationship between two loving people just keeps flowing and moving on. Then there's this bold statement here which says nothing in the world is single. So that's a confident statement which is saying nothing is single. All things by a law divine. We've already had a reference to heaven. Now we've got this reference to being divine. In one another's being mingle. So what he's saying here is love is natural. It's just divine law. And then he says, why not I with thine? And here we realise in this rhetorical question that the narrator of the poem is wanting to mingle with whoever he's addressing. Now, this could be the person that he's falling in love with. And there's a suggestion here from that word mingle that maybe he actually means, why aren't we kissing? Why aren't we one? You know, everything in the world is meant to be together. Nothing's meant to be single. In the second stanza, he says, see the mountains kiss high heaven and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What is all this sweet work worth if thou kiss not me? What you'll notice again here, how does this stanza end? Same as the last stanza. It ends with a rhetorical question, and this time he's directly saying, I've put in all this sweet work. Is it worth anything if you're not actually going to kiss me? We get also quite kind of passionate verbs with kiss and clasp here. Passionate verbs. I'm going to try and spell it out while you write it down. So we're starting to get the idea that this is quite a physical desire that the narrator has. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdains its brother. So again, we're talking here with natural imagery, which suggests that actually their love is natural. And the sunlight clasps the earth. So we've got repetition here of clasp and kiss, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. You'll notice here that we've got two strong rhyming words at the end here, see and me. This kind of reinforces the confidence of the speaker. He's certain that they should be together. So some key points around this poem. The speaker uses nature to argue that it's natural for humans to kiss and mingle. The poem may have a real person in mind, but also follows an established convention of male speakers persuading women to be physical with them. The poem opens with images of fountains, rivers, and the ocean, reminding us of the natural flow and purity of water. The speaker argues that mixing is a natural state set by an unspecified law divine. In the second stanza, we get more physically passionate words such as clasp and kiss, reminding us this is what the speaker really wants. And the tone becomes more demanding as the speaker compares the and it becomes more demanding as he says, what is all this sweet work worth if thou not kissest me? And, the sister flower would be forgiven if it, no longer spoke to its brother. We get that strong rhyme at the end. And we've got both stanzas, as we noticed, ending with questions, which could be read as him being quite assertive and saying, why are you not doing this thing for me? Or it could be he's genuinely a bit baffled why she isn't wanting to do what he wants to do. Now, I just want to say something about the rhyme, and I'm going to give you a bit of an example paragraph here. For most of the poem, Shelley uses irregular beats to suggest hesitant thoughtfulness. However, in the final 4 lines, the rhythm falls into a regular iambic meter. It is as if the speaker is becoming more demanding, and the steady beat suggests a pulsing desire to kiss and clasp. So in terms of context, Percy Shelley was a romantic poet. He wrote about nature and emotions, and that's very clear in this poem. At the age of 19, he married Harriet Westbrook, but 5 years later, he fell in love with Mary Godwin. 3 weeks after Harriet died, he married Mary. And I don't think you need to know the specifics of that, but you just need to know that he married young and fell in love with someone else. And so poems about desire and wanting to be close to someone would have been quite appropriate, bearing in mind his life. What I'd like you to do at this stage is watch the GCSE pod and take more notes on context, and I've put a link there. But I also really encourage you to watch the other GCSE pods on this poem and make sure that this poem is also really annotated. Okay, so what are you going to be submitting for me this week? I am looking for 2 photos of your anthology and annotated, so a photo of the sing-song poem and a photo of Love's Philosophy. And then I'm looking for a 1.5 pages of essay writing on this question. Compare the way poets present ideas about desire in sing-song and in one other poem from Love and Relationships. You can either upload that to Show My Homework or you can email it to me. If you email it to me, remember that your email address just comes up as a series of numbers, so remember to say who you are. All right, I hope you enjoyed learning and hearing about those 2 new poems. Remember, if you want to revise, you can go back and click on the titles, and those are also YouTube videos where you get to see a bit more of the poem. All right, look forward to reading your work. Bye.